Start with your tone.
Are you telling me you built a time machine?
There is no school.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Well, let me finish them, please.
I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Sunday version 2.0. This is episode 4. I am your host, David S. Dawson. Today is Thursday, April 25th, and we've all just watched Avengers Endgame. I'm sitting at a round table with Julian Fries,
Brian Keith Davis,
Oscar Perez,
Jordan Jacobo.
Mike Peterson,
Teresa Dawson Davis.
and we are going to do our best to not be overly spoiler-filled.
What?
I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to freaking happen.
That was the last one.
It's damn near impossible to give a review of this movie without spoiling something.
Anybody who's
So
smart paying attention is going to know that most of the people are, it's not, you don't know what to expect.
Well, let's do this, okay? We've done this before. We're going to do one time around the table, just your thoughts on the film without any spoiler. So, Julian Fries, you first.
Thoughts without any spoiler. I mean, it delivered. You know, that did exactly what I wanted it to do, and more. I mean, it was pretty perfect. I mean, I can't say it was perfect. I'm gonna watch it like 4,000 or 5,000 more times beforehand, but we'll see.
Amen, brother.
But it's definitely satisfied. Yeah, it's like those were the first words that are coming out, and yeah, definitely I can relate to that.
Brian.
I completely agree, and I said it before. I haven't cried this much since The Notebook. It was
I
such
haven't
a
even
good.
seen The Notebook. Is that a crier?
That's your credit.
Yeah,
You give these two.
I had a lot of oh shit moments with the film.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's my spoiler-free review.
Okay.
Avengers Endgame was just so long, and I had to, I'm not saying, I'm trying to be tact. I had a hot one in the chamber. like from the moment we saw Spider-Man, right? And I'm like, I got a Duke. And I just had to wait another 3 hours.
Well, there's a spoiler right off the bat. Sorry, folks.
We all know there's another Spider-Man movie coming out. Sorry, dummies who didn't figure it out.
Mike?
Epic is a word that I'm going to throw out there that describes very few movies, in my opinion. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. The battle is epic. It's big, massive. I said it for Infinity War. This is epic, but for a very different reason than what Infinity War was. Just well done. The perfect culmination of 10.5 years now.
Right. Teresa?
I thought it was a pretty fantastical bookend to what 10 years of building up has been. I thought they gave a little of something to everybody. And I know I made fun of Brian, but I bawled a lot.
Yeah.
At a lot of spots, too, that maybe aren't normal bawling moments that everybody was bawling at. I was crying at a lot of other stuff real early on, too. So it was a very emotional ride. But it was not just of the story emotional ride, but I think also the realization of the end of this era.
Right.
And the more it went on, the happier I was with how this was going.
Nice.
I need therapy. Drained.
My spoiler-free review is that the Russo brothers accomplished what I felt was an impossible task, which was satisfyingly wrapping up 22 films and 11 years of storytelling in the Infinity Saga with this film. Now, a year ago, when we went in to watch Infinity War, I had said, if they don't dust everybody, this movie is bullshit. And they dusted everybody, and the Russos went emotionally where Marvel Cinematic Universe had hesitated to go before, and they amped it up even 10 times higher in this film. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to pull it off. And like Teresa said, and I think you said it, Mike, there's a little something for everybody. If you're a fan of the smaller films in the MCU, there's something in there for you. Every single film is touched at some point in this film and looped back to in some way, and it's so incredible. It's incredible what they did. The storytelling on it's just incredible. It's hard to describe without spoiling. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, turn it the fuck off right now, and come back and listen to the rest of this podcast after you've seen the film. And I know everybody on the planet is going to see the movie by the end of this weekend because the ticket sales are just bonkers through the roof.
There are theaters doing 24 hours.
Yeah.
Back to 24 hours.
They haven't
done that forever.
Ages. Yeah. So this movie is going to be something incredible. That they say it's unlikely, but possible that it could unseat Avatar as the number one film of all time. We'll see. We'll see.
I think it was better.
So now
10 years to make Avatar, so the math adds up.
Now I want to get into the spoilers. So just kind of right off the bat, who has like their favorite moment of the film that they want to share?
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
All the time travel and going back to all the pieces that...
Mike, you need to turn your mic a little closer to your mouth. Sorry. It's like...
All of the time travel that happens and going back to certain places, like Steve Rogers in the elevator.
Yeah.
All the little things like that were back in, Captain America 2.
The first Avengers,
the circle for the first.
Yeah, we were seeing it on screen
where
again.
They're going back in time to all those key moments. I knew they were going to go back in time, but I didn't know how.
Yeah.
And they hit every big moment. Peggy Carter, all the characters.
Well, that's part of that full circle.
Exactly.
And including
all
everything.
These characters that you didn't think were going to come back, even if they had minor roles, they're back in this film.
Yeah.
Jarvis, the real Jarvis.
Yeah.
And he was from the TV show.
From the TV show, yeah. That's incredible. Cool. I loved that they did the things where they saw themselves in the past. They weren't supposed to interact with themselves, but they did. But what was cool was they kept shitting on Back to the Future.
Yeah.
All through the beginning. But then a huge chunk of the movie was like Back to the Future too.
I think you pretty much have to if you
where they're peripherally watching themselves and doing all stuff. So it was fun. I think it was smart to bring up all the different time travel movies that had come before.
Yeah.
And just kind of be like, yeah, whatever you expect, just forget it.
It reminded me of one of those shows, on all the sitcoms when they do an episode where it's just, let's look back.
Clip episode.
Clip back. It's a clip.
Everybody loves a montage.
It was great.
Greg had a problem with the time travel. The whole, Nebula can't kill herself and her past self because then she would just die. And I'm like, were you not paying attention? He's like, no, there's only one reality.
Yeah.
Then what are you talking about? That's your past. And like, okay, you missed a chunk.
That worked for me. It worked.
Plus, Greg thinks the world is flat, so.
I mean, for me, the last scene, because I'm a sucker for the love stories, and he got to the last dance, and I'm like,
I know. As soon as the house, and
that was great that he shows up. So because he's been living this whole time, and he knew that they were going to be there.
And can I say this? Chris Evans did a great job playing an old man.
Oh my God, that was so. I like to see that they've done so much de-aging CGI that you could tell, but it was fantastic. He looked amazing.
Sometimes it goes wrong, like Winona Ryder in that Star Trek one, where she's like, "Spock, I'm old now. This is how they act right now. Just act a little older, slower."
He's still Captain America. He's not going to be fat.
What? I don't know.
If anything, he went back more to the frame he had before he was Captain America.
Most of that generation stayed pretty fit all the way to old age.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yes.
My grandfather was super fit all the way up to the point that pancreatic cancer took him.
I don't know.
Speaking of being fit or unfit, Thor. Oh my
Fat Thor.
Fat
God, man.
Did anybody
Thor
see
abides.
No,
I did not see that. Now, can we talk about so the walking in the hangar, right? Them on the white suit. How many times did people like, who's missing? What's wrong in this walk? When the walk came out, everybody's like, they always do this. They do this. They eliminate somebody or they switch it a little bit. They're like, what is it? What is it? As soon as it started, I'm like, it was Fat Thor. It was Fat Thor.
That's what he popped up and said to.
They finally get their plan. They're in front of all the holographic screens. When you go back to the trailer, Thor's just off screen of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's sitting on the couch.
I leaned over to Jordan. I'm like, the Thor abides. And then they made the Lebowski.
He did look just like Jeff Bridges for most of the film. How great was it that they brought his weird alien sidekick? I love those guys, and they're sitting on the couch.
Corrigan Meek.
He's got a Hawaiian shirt on. No, we're fine. We're good.
So there was a lot to unpack in this movie. It is 3 hours long, but it is just
bam, bam, bam,
filled to the brim
with stuff. Nothing felt like superfluous or out of place. There were things that they showed, like the Comic-Con clip and stuff, where Captain Marvel shows up with the pager and all that sort of stuff, that just didn't make it into the final cut. How did that feel for you guys? Because Captain Marvel was basically there all of a sudden. Was that?
But she showed up. She showed up at the end of Captain Marvel.
No.
At the end credits.
Well, yeah, they showed a bit. The
page.
Dave had to pee.
That was at the end of Captain Marvel. But usually those scenes at the end credits like that end up being part of the larger scene that's in the next movie.
But it's just weird that like nobody questioned her existence. She's like. She was to them what Cousin Oliver was to the Brady Bunch. Next episode, they're just here and everybody's like,
but that's what Marvel has perfected. You know, that's why you walk into a movie and you don't need that. You know,
I kind of did. I kind of need to be like,
you also needed to watch more movies.
Yeah. You knew who she was. You knew who she was. You didn't need to,
because I pay attention to, I know that they just did a movie about
it.
And it worked. So in the previous film, they spent plenty of time and they got to know her.
No, but they met her at the end of the Captain Marvel film.
The Marvel movies have done
always
since Ant-Man. Really, Ant-Man comes in and he's kind of introduced, but like you're at this point where you don't really need a whole backstory again of every character meeting the Avengers.
So it's just assumed off camera. They went on a lot of picnics.
They do a little bit here and there, but you don't have to. But yeah, they show up at the very end.
Marvel does give their fans a lot of credit, and then we're smarter than we look, So
they're assuming that by this point, Jordan, you've watched all the movies. I guess so. I would have liked to have seen Tony have some more reaction to her since she essentially saved his life. I would have liked to have seen some interaction there. But that's a nitpick. Cool. A nitpick.
Well, he was kind of busted to shit at that point, right?
Well, he was on the verge of dying. So.
That was one of the most surprising things because we knew time had passed. We didn't know when. But the movie starts off only 23 days afterwards.
Yeah.
And then
it jumps 5 years.
Then it jumps 5 years.
Then Thor happens and then goes into depression, but 5 years it jumps.
Yeah, I was surprised that they went and attacked Thor again.
Or Thanos.
Or Thanos so quickly.
Right away.
Yeah, it was. I was like, wow.
Well, hey,
where's it going to go from here now?
That really threw me off.
Dude, when he chopped his head off, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be an interesting movie. Like, they're going to go deep into different ideas of, like...
And it's very anticlimactic.
The hero thing is
moments.
So quickly, he just chopped his head. Yeah, and there was no fancy speech. There was nothing.
It's not about being... It wasn't a hero thing.
It threw me off so much. I didn't know what to expect, but I certainly did not expect the weird, bleak future that they suddenly threw us in. And I think it had more of an impact because none of us saw it coming.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, if half of the universe was eliminated... I mean, how would you be able to mentally and emotionally cope with that?
No, of course. I thought it was going to be an epic battle. We're going to get the stones today, and then we're going to go for a fight.
Did you not get an epic battle?
No, but at that moment when they first quickly went to go after him.
Too soon. I mean, they're like...
It was too soon.
Okay, give it a week, but 5 years. Holy shit. I threw me off.
They didn't have any plans.
Thanos was injured.
Yeah.
He's still recovering from having an axe in his chest.
Yeah.
His arm
and his arm,
and
the
destroying
power.
the Infinity Stones fucked him up even more.
You saw him; he was limping.
Jesus, guys!
So no, it was well done. I just didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah, so it surprised me. It had more of an impact on me.
Yeah.
But you know, there's part of the bleak world that everyone's depressed. But you know, the shots over New York City and all that kinds of stuff where you literally don't have half the people, so all those boats, all those cars, it's all
those. Yeah, there's no one to do those jobs.
So it's just gonna be extra trash all over the place.
What I 7.5 billion people dropped down to 3.25. There's a lot of empty stuff.
No, it makes sense. I understood why.
And it wasn't just the people; it was the animals.
Oh, I know.
What I didn't understand is why
When the birds came back. That was
Thanos in the other reality cared, because for a second it seemed like, they took his stone from his time, I guess.
Well, and he explains it later. He says, I realize that you guys are going to keep coming back because you remember.
Oh, I love that. That was awesome.
Like, so I realize now I've got to destroy everything and start over.
That was awesome.
It's like, geez,
well, and
dude.
he looked around because he came down in the ship. He looked around to see what the planet had looked like, and it wasn't the beauty that he thought he was giving.
Yeah.
And then that's when he said, because I realized it's because the ones that are left remember.
Yeah, can't move on.
And they can't move on. And they're not going to be grateful. His whole thing is everybody being grateful for giving them the, whatever.
By the end of Infinity War, I didn't think you can make Thanos, cooler. And they just added another thick, another layer. I'm like,
he was very smart. He was very smart.
Yeah. I expected, because there was that bit where they were watching Nebula's memories, and you see all of the Avengers in the one room. I leaned to you, Mike. I was like, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge, Stark. I was like, oh, that's how he knows Tony Stark.
Right, that's what I thought too.
But then it went a whole different direction. I was like, every step of the way, it kind of took a turn that I didn't quite expect. Which
the Nebula connected, through the two of them. That was an interesting way for him to find out. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. The idea that her neural network, in the same time,
she connected to her own Wi-Fi.
Basically, she connected to her Wi-Fi
crosstalk like her mics in these balls.
She didn't run through workshop.
Half goofy, half goofy Banner, half goofy Hulk.
Professor Hulk was amazing. Dude, I've been hoping that they would go Professor Hulk for a while, and when they said they had this 3-story arc for Banner in these films, I was like, starting with Thor Ragnarok through Infinity War and then Endgame, I was like, they better go Professor Hulk. It was so wonderful.
It was perfect.
How great was it when he half-heartedly destroyed stuff? He was like,
whatever. And the selfie scene was
oh my god,
very funny. Can we address the homages to other films that appeared in this?
Yeah, go for it.
Because when the Hulk goes to look for Thor, you all notice that Wes Anderson vibe, right?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
And then also there's a scene where they're flying through space, and Captain America, you see the reflection of all the weird colors in his eyeball, and there was a lot of homages.
2001. Yeah,
2001.
A lot of nods to a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Good on the Russo brothers, because they did it well. It wasn't too heavy-handed.
Yeah, they managed to slip in film references like that and a ton of MCU references.
Quite a bit of comedy one-liners too. More so than previous films, except for Thor Ragnarok.
Well, Marvel seems
they've always had them.
Yeah, they seem to do a pretty good job of hitting you and getting you emotionally torn. And then knowing when the beat is to throw in a line.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everybody's laughing again, and then they're moving on, and you're moving on to the next one until they make you cry again, and then they...
Which there was a lot of crying in this movie.
There was a lot of crying in this movie.
Stan Lee's cameo
was
awesome.
Cute.
Yeah.
That was not bad.
I was impressed with how they started the film.
That was like a cold open. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I was crying within the first minute and a half of the
first
film.
Minute of the film. It didn't even take that. As soon as I knew where we were, I went, fuck. And I was already crying.
I did. I called that a year ago.
Yeah, we all, everybody knew that they got dusted. Everybody was calling that.
Well, but I mean, it was one of those things though where we were in one of our podcasts and someone was like, "Well, where the hell was Hawkeye? Where's Clint?" And I said they're going to open the next film on Clint watching his family get dusted.
This was way heavy Clint movie, and it was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys something? How would you guys have felt if this had been the twist? If at the end he walks up to the old guy and it is Steve Rogers, but an old Steve Rogers played by Stan Lee.
I wouldn't have wanted that.
No.
That would have been weird.
It would have pulled you right out of that
Too much.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was young
Stanley
Steve Rogers.
iconic of the face.
And they couldn't have played it serious. So you would have lost that emotional.
You would have totally lost the emotional touch to it, and the having Chris Evans actually play it and stuff, because it was his mannerisms and his face and his eyes that you've gotten so used to over the last 10 years.
I didn't expect old Steve to be sitting there. Actually, from when they showed it, I thought it was
young
Steve. Pre-Steve.
As soon as I saw the back, I'm like, it's going to be old Steve. I'm betting.
Well, he's wearing a members only jacket.
The entire time I'm like,
but he wore a members only jacket in the very first.
When he
when he was skinny and tiny, he wore that tan members only jacket.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Everything. They were so
full circle.
Like, how much fun must it have been to write this movie and work the production design and have to go back and look at all these things and trying to figure out how can we weave little pieces of those original films, because those original films now are 10 years old. 11 years old.
When I leaned over to you, when Cap is talking to all the not AA, but the survivors, that's Sam's place where he met Sam.
Yep.
He took over after Sam. I leaned over like, this is where he met Sam. He's taking over that job. That's all those little things is what you're referencing right there.
Yeah.
Passing of the shield to Sam, that was awesome.
Yeah. I knew, and that's why I'm like, when he came back, like, he's got to pass. I'm like, leaning over, like, okay, he's passing it over to Bucky. Oh, no. Oh, it's Sam. Oh, this is sweet. This is even better.
Yeah, well, how did you guys feel about it being
Sam and
Falcon instead of Winter Soldier?
It's baloney.
No, I felt like it was gonna go to Sam. Yeah, it felt like.
But you said you're like, Winter Soldier should get it. Bucky should get it. And then I thought I heard Oscar say he's got the arm.
But it was like it's a fuck you to his buddy. And also, like, I don't know, how was Bucky not at least a little upset? I'd have been pissed.
No.
He wouldn't want the Captain America mantle, wouldn't he?
Like, no, that's not.
It happens at times in the comics, but at the same time, he's been on Wakanda now. Like, after, he was in peace for a while. He only got brought in after a couple years of peace and relaxation for the Infinity War battle.
Yeah.
He's 100 years old.
I get a feeling like Bucky wants to just retire himself.
Yeah.
He's had a difficult life as it is, and now he's seen Steve had that taste of life that Tony kept telling him he needed to have. I bet Bucky's about to do the same thing.
When they went to go get the Soul Stone, I really didn't think. I'm like, how are they going to do this? I'm like, because there's no way they're going to follow.
I love it that they were fighting over who's going to sacrifice themselves.
Oh man!
How did you feel about who ended up being the one?
They obviously set it up to where you wanted it to be Hawkeye. After seeing him stabbing a guy in the beginning.
I wanted it to be her.
Really?
Yeah.
I understand why it's her, because I mean, she probably has way more blood on her hands.
If you start a film with a character about his family and then
you can't
sacrifices that they can't get together,
that's cliche to me.
Yeah,
taking that away, big time.
Yeah, it's plot armor.
Yeah. Hey, how weird was that? There was one section where, like, it was Marvel female hero after Marvel female hero.
Oh yeah, the Marvel female lineup.
Yeah. They did that in Infinity War.
It was still heavy in this one. Like,
she's not alone.
Yeah. They did it well there because it was three of them. But in this one, it's like, okay, here's the whole lineup. I got it. I get it. It's just can't stagger them all
and
out.
Captain Marvel's here. Oh, what? She's showing up too.
Yeah. It's like, okay, dude. Right on cue.
It was cool.
It's called inclusion, man.
Yeah.
No. Inclusion would have been had there been boys and girls there.
They were.
Not in that one line with like Valkyrie and then
in the history of film.
Like I was thinking about
in the history of film, in context of the history of film, and that's their point. It's like we can and we will.
I get it, but it was heavy. It was a little heavy. It was a little heavy.
I was thinking about like we're gonna have this argument. I knew that we were gonna have this argument, but then I was thinking, what about the rest of that fucking scene where it is all guys and girls, and then like we're all getting like
as soon as all those portals started opening up, I was like, fuck yeah.
I'm like, let's just start talking about the everyone coming back.
Everyone.
That was
It was. I mean, images right off the comic book. Something like you would like when you would look at some of these illustrations where you're like looking at like, there's no way they could put that on screen. Yeah. And we finally got the battle scene we all want.
The one aerial shot when Thanos' ship starts like bombarding everybody, and all the wizard shields go up and start covering.
That was
a battle.
I was like,
real
that
battle.
is fucking awesome.
It was a real battle.
It was such a great
talked
visual.
about it last night, which was unfortunate, but it's the one time finally that you actually get the Avengers theme song again, which makes sense because obviously they're.
And it's the one time you get to hear Cap say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I went. That's where I lost my fucking shit.
They have teased it so many times up to a point, and they finally gave it to us.
Yeah,
I love that theme song.
Yeah.
Tony Stark's last word.
Oh my god.
Perfect. Yeah. I am Iron Man.
You are now and will ever always be my friend. And then
Peter crying over him.
Yeah, could that kid keep making everybody cry? I mean, for reals.
I love Tom Holland.
I love
such a
Tom
great
Holland.
Peter
And how
Parker.
many parental figures have died on that poor kid?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
His actual parents, Uncle Ben, Peter Parker. Aunt May's going to die someday. It's terrible.
Now he's going to be stuck with Nick Fury.
Happy.
That's an interesting father figure.
And that's an interesting, what they're gonna do with the next movie with Spider-Man. Exactly. That's gonna give us a little bit more of where they're gonna go and what direction they're gonna take. Because it's gonna be the real first movie afterwards, right?
Yeah. Speaking of Happy, the very end with him and Morgan.
Oh, the burgers.
My God. Cheeseburger.
Oh my god.
I just started to fall.
Right?
When he gets right through the cave.
Yeah.
First thing he gets back up to the cave. I'm like, oh my God.
Again, it's those little things that they included in there. They don't overly draw attention to it. It's if you don't know anything about the backstory.
But if you're a fan,
it's just like, oh, that's touching. Like they like the same thing. But if you are a fan, it
those
pays
are the
off.
treats for the fan.
So big.
And even with the comic books too, like I can see from this movie with Happy and Morgan there that Happy does everything he can to help take care of Morgan and becomes the uncle. But I can also see then possibly that him and Pepper get together, because in the comics, Happy and Pepper were together. So like it's kind of like an interesting like hypothesis that could happen.
Could happen. I'd rather see him with Aunt May though. Marissa Tomei is gorgeous still. What is she, like 80 now? She looks amazing.
She's in her 50s.
Even better. No, I love her.
Apparently, she's only like a couple years younger than the Aunt May from the first Spider-Man, who was like.
No, she's like the same age that Blanche was on the Golden Girls.
What?
Yeah.
But they were saying that that the original woman who played Aunt May in the first Spider-Man movie, that looks like the Aunt May that was drawn, it was only like 2 or 3 years older than
the other
Marissa Tomei when she
lived a harder life.
Yeah.
But, did this bother anybody else?
No.
Okay.
Let me
Here's what
hear
bothered
it.
me. Okay. Every person that went into the past conveniently ran into the one person that defined their pain the most, right? So like.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
Okay, not everybody, but even
Who
one
so?
ridiculous. Okay, Captain America wanders in. He's like, I'm going to hide in this office. How convenient. Look whose office it is. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then Tony Stark is like...
He runs into his dad.
Yeah, it's like, that's pretty fate. Hundreds of scientists
Except
working there.
those were all their... That was a lot of their
that was
motivation.
their base.
That was their base and motivations.
That was
And Tony's dad worked on the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Really,
that was
him?
part of his story.
It was just a Stark project.
Part of his story is Howard Stark.
It's a pretty top secret thing.
Howard
It's not like
Stark-
you're going to have
but he must have had
50 people.
Pretty convenient.
Yeah, he was looking for one of them.
Like Thor with his mom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He was looking for one of his assistants when he bumps into Tony.
Yeah.
But only older Stark is there. Thor with his mom, that I get, but I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I get that it was
Those were the
I like the Thor with his mom that she knew.
Yeah, I love how she's
That one
like,
got
I
me.
was
I was
raised
like,
by witches.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was like, that's badass.
Natalie Portman for a brief comeback.
Yeah. Thank you, Natalie, for doing that.
Yeah.
And only that. Thank you for not speaking on camera.
I wonder if it was digital.
There you go.
I did wonder that halfway through. I'm like, is that digital?
Well, because I expected him to.
Or could they have just caught parts of something they used from
I've
previous?
rotoscoped another clip from.
something they've
you
used
have-
already.
You just have someone stand in because all you see is this, and then
Yeah,
Rocket
exactly.
pop up behind her.
Yeah,
So you
it's
could
just
just
a
have
plate. You could use that as a plate. Yeah.
Because you don't see Rocket do anything, right? Really to her. He just sneaks up behind her and then boom, conveniently we're done. Hey, I got it.
Amen.
I like the little bits of Loki.
Yeah.
So those
that was
were
awesome.
fun.
Those were fun.
Or Hulk of the stairs of the stair bit.
So many stairs.
Yeah, that was
For a brief moment, Rocket, speaking of references to other films, Rocket seemed to be like dressed like Thor. Just like Thor. He had his cape and everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, like...
He did. He had a full red cape going on and everything. Yeah, you didn't catch it. He had a little mini Thor outfit going.
He did?
He did.
Because there's a scene where Lando's wearing Han's clothes after taking his ship back.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just standard smuggler wear.
Well, maybe that's a uniform. But I haven't thought about it too much. But I would like to make total tangent.
Han's
I would like
cape.
to make one of the Star Wars stories just about like a moisture farmer who like is not force sensitive or involved, and it just be like such a beautiful universe piece without being so involved in the actual like
the Aunt Beru story.
Yeah,
I love it. Let's do that.
All right, I'm sorry.
Louise.
Top station nights.
Yeah, exactly.
I randomly would have liked to see if they would have done it differently. Cap go to the Soul and just see Red Skull again, just to see what that would have done.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I would love to see what he thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, nobody bothered to tell him. Like,
Yeah,
that was
like-
weird dude
Yeah.
with the red skull.
Do you remember that guy?
He had
Yeah.
a red skull, but also he was a ghost. Okay.
Yeah.
Sound kind of familiar. He sounds.
Yeah.
And did they ever explain why Red Skull was there?
Yeah.
They just.
He was cursed by the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The Tesseract
Cursed by the
sent him there.
Tesseract?
Yeah.
Man, I've been putting too much time into my scripts. I really just got to phone it in because holy crap.
At the end of Captain America, the first event, he gets swallowed into a vortex and vanishes.
Okay.
And when he reappeared in Infinity War, he says, "I've been here since I pursued the stones, and part of my punishment for pursuing them is I've been
guide people to the stuff."
Yeah.
I can't get over Captain America being worthy. Like,
that was
like
no, wait a second. You get the small.
I love this. Thor goes, I knew
As soon as I saw Mirror just rise up, I was just like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. It was so good.
like just the
when I
combination
switched.
well, he was using both weapons together.
Take the smaller one.
Oh my God, it was perfect.
when Cap's using Mjolnir and the shield at the same time, like, that was
and
ridiculous.
using the lightning,
That was
using it,
amazing.
knowing exactly what to do, and
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I love how Loki just like dipped for the rest of the film after he got the.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because
That's right.
he's got a Disney Plus.
Yeah.
He's got Disney Plus series to star in now.
Yeah, you're right. He
Yeah.
gets that.
Yeah.
Is it going to be alternate universe?
So there's a Loki show, there's a WandaVision show,
Hawkeye.
and there's a Hawkeye show,
And they're all playing their
Falcon
parts.
and
And Falcon and
Falcon
Winter
and
Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
I heard WandaVision, Wanda's character is going to be played by two twins that are just going to. Like, nobody saw Full House here?
Yeah, I was
You should
thinking
work
like
on that writing.
that's her,
Okay.
isn't that her sister?
Full House stuff. Yeah.
Dude, she was badass though. She was so pissed.
He was so pissed.
You've heard me say it for a long time. I'm like, Scarlet Witch is badass. Like,
yeah.
I can't wait to see her.
Oh yeah, as soon as she popped,
Incredibly did she forget her accent? It's incredible, right?
as soon as she popped in front of Thanos, I was like, oh, she is pissed.
when her eyes glow
They
red.
did that with Scarlett Johansson too. Scarlett Johansson had an accent when she first started. Right?
Thanos' line. He's like, I don't even know who you are. I was like,
Yeah, I got to work on my writing. Okay, thanks, Disney.
I liked when Spider-Man
with Disney there?
enables
The kill mode.
oh, no, it's funny.
Instant kill mode.
I'm doing okay. No, I'm not. I need help.
I heard about them doing Tony making his own glove. For some reason, I just threw it away. I threw the idea away, and it looked amazing. Like, when I saw it on screen, I'm like, yes, it looks.
It looks like
of course Tony would make the glove. Right? Like,
and with Rocket, and when Rocket says like, "Dude, you're only a genius on Earth, bro." I'm like, all right, we got two minds here. We could work with something.
So it was Tony who made the glove.
Yeah, and Rocket. Well, no, actually, they helped him time machine. Never mind.
I wonder if Peter Dinklage got
Boom!
Oh yeah, that's right.
because they could have gone back to Thor's buddy and just gotten another gauntlet, but I wonder if he got poofed in the snap. Was that the entire universe or was that just Earth?
Was you?
You ever-
No, the whole universe,
Oh,
everything.
shit. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Peter Dinklage gone.
That's what I did understand about Infinity War when he said there was 300 dwarves, and he killed them all. Like I thought Thanos was all about half. So
but if you're gonna resist, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
No, what it was is because and I can't remember what that character's name is, but because of what the weapons he could build and stuff like that, that's something different.
Yeah.
So he didn't want
because they could build weapons to help stop him.
Stop him.
So that was the difference.
So that's a different purpose.
Then he made him Hulk hands, like the foam ones. He couldn't do anything with his hands. And then he got one of those fucked up hands after he destroyed the stones. Yeah, the nubby.
When everyone was picking on Ant-Man, and he's over here just trying to have his taco.
Oh yeah.
Hulk just goes to
we got a moron in the landing field.
Yeah.
He gives him 2 tacos.
What did they say?
And then that's when that sequence comes in where he's just like that Wes Anderson thing.
They said something, and then Scott was like, "Not it." About going to do something. I don't remember what it was. That was hilarious.
It was one of the.
It was going to the Soulstone planet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Clint,
Yeah.
Got it.
Oh man, I can't wait to rewatch that.
Yeah. I kept wondering though what happened to Scott's big ant buddy, who was playing the drums at the end of the Wasp.
They should throw him in there in the battle somewhere.
Yeah, he should have saw an army of giant ants.
Yeah,
like, that would have been amazing.
Why didn't he call me?
One missed opportunity.
I see the old school. Was it the old school Ant-Man helmet?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so awesome.
How great was the really young Michael Douglas with the long hair?
That was cool.
Why did he still have the smoker voice? He didn't start smoking until 78.
Well, I love the film. I think it was about as perfect a film as you could hope for, considering the scope of it, the weight of it, because that sheer gravity of trying to complete a 22 film story like that. Absolutely incredible. Kevin Feige, I wrote this on my Facebook as we walked out. Kevin Feige will forever be remembered as the guy who assembled the Avengers and did this incredible feat of filmmaking that, look, when they went to go to the first Avengers film, everybody thought, there's no way you can get these 4 guys together, 6 guys together, and like have them act opposite each other, coexist.
Yeah.
Egos
And
are going
only
to clash.
two-
It's going to be a nightmare. And
Only 2 casting changes in the entire time.
Don Cheadle,
Edward Norton, and Don
Jr.
That's
and Terrence Howard, and that was in the first phase.
Yeah.
How much
After
must he be
that,
kicking himself?
After that, do you figure after the first Avengers, everybody who signed on kind of just knew what they were signing into and were happy to do it?
Yeah.
I think they were taking points.
Well, the one I heard of was Bucky. I remember hearing that he had like 9 films. So I'm like, what?
Who is this?
Bucky. And this was early on. I'm like, he's not even that, he's not even a major character in the Avengers. So wow, that's crazy that came out.
But he's in a ton of them. But I mean, he's absolutely incredible. And hats off to Jon Favreau for kicking it off with Iron Man and setting the tone. And to Robert Downey Jr. And I just want to take a moment and talk about those final scenes with Tony in this movie. I don't think there was a dry eye in the theater, especially the girl sitting next to me. Oh my God, I thought she was gonna seize. She was crying so hard.
You should have held her, man.
Did you hear
Did you see it happening?
Did I see him? I figured he'd die.
I figured he'd die, but I
thought
Cap, yeah.
I thought both of them. But I didn't think they would be to die like that.
I had gone under the assumption that one of them would be the Soul Stone sacrifice. So I'm again surprised at where they went. Pleasantly surprised that they went a different direction. I'm really curious about ScarJo. Is she out of the films now? Because
she's got a film
because
coming.
they've been talking about her doing a film.
Is that going to be a little prequel?
It may be a prequel movie.
It might be an origin.
Feige has said a few times like everything that comes after this could take place anywhere. Like he's like, it doesn't necessarily have to continue sequentially in time. We could go back and start telling other stories.
Yeah.
Well, see, I just don't understand how the timeline works because I'd love to see more of Loki. He's my favorite character.
Well, you will on Disney.
On Disney Plus.
So I'm wondering if that's an alternate timeline thing.
He was in a lot of the films.
Yeah, a lot of the films.
Yeah.
And I love him for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, that's the fun, right? Like we're back at a point now where we have no idea what's next.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we have no idea what's next.
Marvel has changed the, how studios are going to approach every project from now on. Like with the back of their mind, like a possibility of universe building. Everyone's trying to do it,
Yeah. MGM is trying to do it.
Well, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at the financials on this, right? 22 movies. What did we hear the other day?
$18 billion.
$18.4 billion going into this weekend. There's no way that Endgame is doing less than $1.5 billion.
No.
It's more than likely going to top 2. To beat Avatar, it's got to approach 3.
Okay.
If they do that,
they're over 20.
They're over $20 billion in this
in 10 years.
run of films in 10 years, 11 years. It's insane.
Wow.
That kind of money is unbelievable.
And I can't imagine it won't surpass Avatar because, Avatar was a cinematic feat, blah, 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 whatever. Visually looked great. I had problems with the story. But the Avengers, people are invested in this, and they've been invested for a decade.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They've grown up. They've grown up with it.
Everybody's got a character that they're like, that's my character.
This is our Star Wars.
This is our Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is my Star Wars. But,
Well, I mean, it was the original. I never got to be around for New Hope.
We were saying last night.
Yeah.
Oscar has grown up on the MCU.
I saw.
He was 10 years old when
it was like
Iron Man came
9 or 10 when I saw Iron Man in theaters.
And he's going to be saying that for the rest of his life,
Yeah.
it's not going to change.
Did you ever imagine it would get this crazy?
No, definitely not. But I do remember my uncle telling me that they're teasing this thing called the Avengers. I'm like, what's that? And like, oh, you'll probably find out. Look at Samuel Jackson. It was weird. I don't know why we stayed to the end. I didn't do that.
You do that. You always stay to the end of the credits, no matter what. Pay the respects to the filmmaker.
I wasn't a filmmaker then. I was.
I get you. I thought you meant this time.
No, I had 3 years to go. But yeah.
Gotcha.
Very interesting experience, and yeah, that was 10 years. Sure.
Crazy, man.
And let's look at this. Captain Marvel came out a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
Over $1 billion. Endgame, definitely going to be over $1 billion. I'm sure it'll be over 2. And then you got Spider-Man coming out, in June?
Everyone's going to flock making money.
It's July 4th, I think.
July 4th, 4th of July movie?
Sick.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
How big? I mean, I don't know that Spider-Man will hit $1 billion, but it's certainly probably going to do 650, 700.
That'll do very well.
Yeah.
Potentially could do 800. Everybody's curious what's next.
Yeah.
And that is the first movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is the first movie after Endgame. I understand it's the end of the saga, but it is the first movie after Endgame. Everybody's going to want to go see it to see what's going to happen.
For a second, I thought when they sent Cap back and everyone turned away to see whatever was off camera, I thought whatever he did in the past created the next villain, and I thought, I'm like, oh man, they're all going to give us this big bad.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be this huge eternal being or something like that.
Cliffhanger ending.
But good thing they didn't. I mean, it was
No, instead they want to make you cry more.
which is fine.
That was touching. Yeah, I'm glad they didn't.
They introduced something else, like
No, they didn't leave it like that.
They knocked it out the park
because you'd have taken the heart out of it.
Yeah,
or at least the punch to the heart that it gave you.
Man, but that gets to the next film.
The end, though. Tony was
Oof.
perfect send off.
Pepper Potts, man. Like I was just like, oh, we were all Pepper Potts. Like
Peter Parker, that kid makes you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does. He does. He really does. Well, guys, thank you so much for podcasting with me after the film tonight. Like this is my favorite thing to do. Go watch movies and then sit and talk about it with people who just freaking love movies. Like, it's such a great thing to do. And
we're our own Avengers.
We assembled tonight.
Yeah.
But no, and to all of you who are listening to Sci-Fi Sunday podcast, we appreciate you joining us. We greatly appreciate you sharing the show. We're available on Google Music, Google Play, iTunes. I believe we're on our Heart Radio now. If not, we will be soon. And of course, you can check out more episodes of this podcast at theintellectual.com, as well as checking out episodes of the Intellectual podcast. So that's our podcast that we've been running for 6 years, where we interview actors and writers and directors and producers and musicians. And if you are into celebrity gossip type stuff, you want to check out Jordan Jacobo's other podcast, the You Are Gonna Die Alone podcast, the unfortunately titled but brilliant podcast that he does with our friend Kristen Chandler. And anybody else got something they want to share?
Can follow Oscar Perez on Instagram at Oscar the Grip. Oscar the Grip, like Oscar the Grouch.
That's awesome.
Slice of life of a grip in San Diego, just trying to do his thing.
Nice.
Peace and love to you guys. Everything's gonna be okay.
Nice.
Intellectuals assemble.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Until next time, this has been the Sci-Fi Sunday podcast. We are out.